Brad Williams, XL Primed. What date is the next Saturday from the reporting dates? On the surface, it looks fairly simple. Let's examine this theme. We have a reporting date, July 13th. Now keep in mind, we're using random here, so we may lose our original date. What's the next Saturday? It's July 14th. Simple enough. What's the next Monday from this date? Monday, July 16th. How does this thing work? We have B5. We're going to add 7 to it. We're going to subtract weekdays, B5 plus 7 minus 0. Weekday returns the day of the week as a number. So it's going to go back. It's going to look at Friday. This is going to be a Friday, which is day 6. It's going to add 7. Okay, the best way to look at this is we are computing the gap between the reporting date and the next Saturday. There's a gap there. If we use this formula, all we're doing is determining that gap. I'll show you what it looks like. And then we'll get into the writing and the anatomy. Here we have the next Saturday, which is 3 days. How do we compute that gap? B5 plus 7 minus weekday, which is 5, plus 7. Here we have B5, the actual date, plus 7, minus, in this case, 5. The difficult part here is interpreting this weekday. We have weekday B5 plus 7 minus 0. You may think that you're going to look at weekday, and this is a Friday, and you're going to say Friday is 6. And so I'm going to add 6 plus 7 to come up with a weekday. No. We're looking at B5, the serial number. Then we're adding 7 to the serial number. In other words, we're just going a week forward. Got that? We have weekday 6. We have B5 plus 7 is, from this date, is July 7th. Then we have this subtract. We're going to subtract this from here. We're going to come up with Saturday, July 14th. We have this forward date and this back date, and here's the gap, July 14th. Look here. We have the next Saturday will be from Monday is, and I need to do this. I need to give you dates. Date, general. Here, we're going to go, here's the first part. We're going to go B6 plus 7. And here you're thinking I can do the same thing over a weekday. No, you can't do that. So at B6 plus 7, it's going to give us Monday, January 29th. B5 plus 7, the first part of this formula. The second part is weekdays. Okay, look over here. Then we have weekdays, B6, January 22nd, plus 7 gives us 2, Monday. Or remember, this is weekday. We're not looking at a date. So B5, our answer is return the day of the week. So we're tricking this thing a little bit. We're looking for a weekday. So we're going B5, which is a Monday, and we're adding 7. So it's going to be Monday, which is 2. Then we're subtracting Monday the 29th minus 2 equals January 27th. I know it is hard to interpret, but that's how you do this crazy calculation. Over here, with a given start date, you can use a formula based on the weekday function to return the next specific day of the week. B5 plus 7 minus weekday, and here we use 0. That means our weekdays are Sunday through Saturday. 0 represents Sunday. Saturday represents 7. You can change this. Where B5 represents the date Friday, January, well, this is random. And 2 represents the day of the week on Monday. Monday, January 22nd is the resulting date. To obtain a different day of the week, substitute a different day of week in the formula. By default, the weekday function assigns values as follows. Sunday equals 1, Monday 2, Tuesday 3. The weekday function returns a number between 1 and 7 when given a valid date. In Excel, the concept of weekday or day of week is based on the notion that each day of the week is assigned a unique number. With default settings, the weekday function recognizes Sunday as the first day of the week, 1, and Saturday as the last day of the week, 7. The weekday function returns a number between 1 and 7 when provided with a valid date. To determine the following day of the week, this formula advances the date by 7 days, then subtracts the results of a calculation that uses the weekday function to return the correct date. In the displayed example, the formula for row 6 are as follows. B6 plus 7 minus weekday B6 plus 7 minus 7. So that'll get you the next Saturday. The idea here is to look at this formula. What we're doing is the weekday, this serial number, plus 7 minus 2. That's what's critical. You don't add, you don't use the weekday B6 in this example. You don't go back and say B6 is a Tuesday and therefore it's a 2. No, you have to use the formula plus 7 minus 2. That's the confusing part. Because if you go back up here, you look here, you're going, well, B5, July 7th, plus 7 is 2029. It's the serial number B5, general, 43217. What do we have here? Go back to general. 4312 plus 7 is 4319. Got it? 12 plus 7 is 9. Then we're subtracting 6. We have 4313. 1 day ahead. This is Saturday. Want that answer? 4313. We're dealing with serial numbers. It's just a matter of not doing what I did for a while. I was just going back and looking at this here. I'm going to back all the way up here. I was just looking at Saturday and I was adding 7 to the 7. I was stuck. The weekday, you're just adding 7 to this. Then you're just subtracting it from this period here to come up with the date. Here, go through, integrate. In other words, play around with this thing until you can communicate this thing to yourself or to someone else. Maybe you have a better explanation. My explanation is kind of weak. That's the way I see it. I may be missing something here. I still get the same outcome. The way I see it is the way I communicate it. And it may be confusing. I may have to redo this. Let me know if I just confused you or if what I communicated was clear. Brad Williams, XL Prime.